welcome back to All Things Extraordinary with Kish. I am your host, Kish Johnson, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate you tuning in every Thursday for this podcast. Today's episode is another Fixing Crowns moment with an interesting topic. I need all the wives for a moment, and I need my husbands too because it's a partnership, okay? So I am your host, Kish Johnson, your personal branding consultant and your transformation coach. Your transformation coach because I want you to consult with me when you're getting ready to make the next big move in your life about your elevation. Guys, I've always shared my story, how I moved away from that quiet girl to actually launch myself, okay? And I just want to see if you're ready. Okay, and I have a few tips and tricks to share with you. I also want you to consult with me as your personal branding consultant. I've had a business, the House of Destiny Designs LLC, for a while now, and I'm a fashion designer for headwear and accessories for women. And I also have interior decor. I need you to check out the fact that building a personal brand online, it takes a lot. And I need you to know that I am here to help you. Okay, so today I want to introduce you to my guest. Now, my guest is a married woman like myself. I've been married for over 18 years, and I'm going to ask her to share her marriage story with you. So we definitely know what we're talking about today, because our topic is how you can make your marriage exciting. How can we spruce things up? How can we bring in some things that's going to make our spouse go, "Oh, girl, what?" All right, so being married for so long, I've had to do all kinds of things to make my marriage exciting, and I keep doing them. There's never a time when you stop, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All Things Extraordinary, the podcast with my guest, Salome Williams.
Hi, Kish, and hi, everybody. So good to be on your show. This is so amazing.
Yes, I am the winner to have you as my honored guest tonight. I'm so grateful for who you are, the woman you are, the fact that God allowed our lives to just collide. Because, ladies and gentlemen, everyone needs a Salome. She is the ultimate cheerleader. If you want a woman to help you boost your confidence and to tell you this is how you're doing, all right, this is how you need to do that, she gives me all of that, and I admire her work as well. She's building her brand, which is the process to purpose, and I will definitely let her tell you about that because it is one of the most interesting brands that I've seen out there, telling people about the process that takes you to your purpose. What? That's a whole message. That's like a whole life series. And she's doing that great work. She's an author. She's an entrepreneur. She's a mother and a wife. Salome, please tell us, how long have you been married?
Hey, Kish, I have been married for almost 14 years. That's just, child. Yes, 14 years, almost 14 years, February 2023. I'm really excited, looking forward to that as well. So yes, almost 14 years. So I'm right behind you.
Oh, wow, great. So now what I noticed with you on your social media posts, you're always making these little comments about hubby, and you're so charming with him when you post your pictures. Sometimes it's a whole kiss post. And I'm like, whoo. Some men don't like to kiss with their wives in public, but you have the PDA moments. And I know at one point on your YouTube, your husband was there with you. So how do you get him out here on social media to do these amazing things?
I believe that it is very important also for us to be able to show those moments also when we can come together in spite of everything. So I hope you know that all the lovey-dovey things that we show, we deal with some real issues in the behind scenes. So I just wanted to share that. But my husband is not a social media fan. And so there are times when I just catch him when he's just in his good mood, or I'm trying to beguile him or something like that, and he will take a picture with me. But he's really not a social media, but that's something that we have communicated. And because he's a man that wants to always please his wife, Sometimes he will go on a limb and say, okay, well, let me go ahead and do that. So, so
Yeah.
that's just how we get those photos.
And I am grateful for him. So shout out to husband. Okay, Mr. Williams, keep doing what you're doing. And all husbands who are listening to us right now, she says her husband wants to please her. So he does these little things, not all the time, but sometimes. Okay, very well. Tell us about your brand.
So as you know, I am a woman of purpose, and I love to talk about purpose. And because I believe that God has created me with a purpose,
Yeah.
created each of us with a purpose, and He is also and God is also intentional in everything that He does. And so, according to the scriptures, and as a child of God and a believer in the faith and in the Word of God, this is always going to come from that biblical standpoint. God has created purpose in us. He is intentional in everything that He does. And so, what I really share with people is that there is always a purpose for everything. The good, the bad, the indifference, whatever it is. If you have to go to school and get a degree, there is a process, right? If you have to run a race, at the end of the race, there is a purpose for you running that race. And so, everything that we go through, life on a whole is a process, but amidst the process, there is a purpose for everything. And so I just encourage people to just learn themselves in the process, learn how to behave in the process, learn how to trust God in the process, because everything that we go through, it's always for a reason, and God will not give you more than you can bear. So God will take you to the process, through the process, and He will be there with you at the end of the process, because there's always a purpose for your process.
True talk. Listen, and sometimes we get burnt out in the process. None of this makes sense. I've been there. This process is just too difficult. It feels like 10 people's job. So, how are you demonstrating this message through your personal branding? Because I know that you have products and you have services. So, tell us about what it is that you're promoting for your business.
To your question, one of the things that I do that is very near and dear to my heart is my coaching business. And what I do is that I coach teens. I love young people, and I do believe they are so impressionable. And at a tender age, it is necessary for us to really talk with them, sit with them, listen to what their cares and their problems or situations are, some of the things that they encounter, so that we can help them through their process. I do help them through their transitional process, whether it is going into middle school, high school, and that change from puberty to adulthood, going into college. What are their dreams and their aspirations, and how they view life? And just remind them of some of the things that they may encounter, and kind of help them as to how to process change, how to process the different things that they go through, the different stages of their lives. And so, based on my heart, I love to talk with adults as well, and then their process, especially as a wife. I think that it is one of my duty as an older wife, even though you may think I'm not as old, I'm 39, I think I'm old enough to be able to share even with younger wives, like what marriage is and the process of marriage, and some of the things that you may expect and experience and see. But because marriage is such a important union and a covenant with God and their spouse, it's important for them to, understand each other, understand why we're married, and how to deal with some of the different things that they go through. So yes, that's definitely dear to my heart.
Amazing. You love children. And this is something that I admire because at times we forget about the younger generation and the adolescents. And especially talking about purpose, I remember when I was a teenager how much I needed to understand my purpose. I wouldn't have done half the things I did. I couldn't figure out my career choices. And so I'm happy that you're helping that age group, that transitional age group, to figure out the process that it takes to get to your purpose, and that you don't have to know what you want to do, but just still keep on going. Take that course anyways, because most of us aren't even using those degrees right now, but they have added to our lives educationally and the challenges, just preparing us for life.
Mhm.
Now, Talk to me about this. On the matter of children, talk to me about this amazing looking book. Guys, look at this. Check this out. Check it out. That's her. Wait, that's her. I am a purpose seed. Tell me about this.
Well, you know what? That was just an amazing book that I wanted to. And you shared earlier. You talked about, sometimes as adults we're so focused on our purpose, what we need to do, our career, and a lot of times our children are left behind. Our young people are left behind trying to figure things out in a society where they're getting pulled in different directions, and so it was very important to me, and it was really inspired by my niece, because when I wrote my first book, Giving Birth to Purpose in an Uncomfortable Place, my niece saw it. She was like, I want to write a book like Auntie. And so I was like, wow, writing a children's book so that they can know who they are, and be able to say it like, this is who I am. This is what God said that I am. This is how I need to operate, how I need to grow, some of the things I need to say, and just be positive about my life and my purpose and my intention as I grow and get older. So that was just a gift from God for children. And I do hope that even your audience and the parents also see the need for their child to even get this book. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the adults love this book as well, because
Yeah.
sometimes we grow up not even recognizing that we have a purpose as well. So yes, I love
Yeah.
that. I am a
And,
purpose.
and also missing out on the message that we should have had as children. So I can see where I'm amazing. And that is why I keep praising the one who created me. I am a purpose seed. I am filled with possibilities, and that is my reality. I will not be dormant. I am a purpose seed. Just positive affirmations and words of confidence for children and for everyone. And that's your second publication, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about the first.
So the first one is Giving Birth to Purpose in an Uncomfortable Place. I've always
Ooh, wait. Slow down and tell us the title of that book again. It's powerful.
It's called Giving Birth to Purpose in an Uncomfortable Place. And I really love that book. I've always wanted to be an author, and I believe it was the Holy Spirit who really just helped me to share that book and share what God would want others to know about giving birth to purpose, and how uncomfortable it is, even when
Yeah.
we look at the parallel of a woman giving birth and the things in the process that the woman has to go through. It gets
Mhm.
difficult, it gets tiring. Sometimes you may be in a situation that is not conducive to you excelling and doing all the great things, and excelling in the potential and in the purpose that God has created for you. And so it really tells you about the process, what to expect, what not to expect, how to be patient in the process, how to be fortified in the process, how to pray, how to wait on God in the process, and sometimes how to be silent during the
Ooh, that one.
how to be silent during the
Woo!
process, because sometimes we just make a whole lot of noise, and God just wants us to be
Uh,
still in that moment so he can really share with us, share with our heart what he would want us to do and operate as we're going through the process. So that was just an amazing book, and I do hope your audience, of course, go
yeah.
out and purchase that book and purchase it for a gift for someone,
Yes.
that they can,
Listen,
you know,
guys.
find it for.
Listen, I need you to do this at the end of this show. Support our authors. Support every author that I bring on this show. And the reason for that, I bring them here for a reason. Talking about doing extraordinary things. The name of this book is something you can relate to. Uncomfortable places to bring birth to a process. Right? Did I say it right? To bring birth to a purpose.
Yes, giving birth, the purpose in
Yes.
a place. Yeah.
It is a challenge for me to be doing these podcasts. It is so challenging. I have weeks there's at least that Wednesday night before the podcast goes out, I don't sleep. It is just so much that goes into it that you have to make sure that is done. But I need to give birth to this purpose. So you sign your own self up for the challenge,
Yes.
but you believe in it, and it comes with that great rewarding satisfying feeling. Thank you for authoring this book, and we all are going to go ahead and get it. And I'll put a Salome and I will discuss a special code or some kind of promotion, but you need to have it. All right, guys. And this one, I got this from my daughter because she needs to know. She, you know what she told me tonight? She said, "Mommy, I love this book because this little girl on it is so beautiful, and she just looks so much like me." Ooh, like that was breakthrough, Salome. And I needed to let you hear that because when we were growing up, we never saw a lot of girls that looks like us on books and anywhere majorly, but now things have changed. We are changing that narrative.
Yeah.
So thank you for your work. So we're gonna start talking about marriage.
Yes.
So, because we're tired and we just came from off a long day of work, so we're missing the rings. I can see that we're both doing it, but I'm a married woman for over 18 years and Salome for 14 years. And so we know a thing or two. We've had to do it all to put the spice in and to make our marriages more exciting. So, wives, leaning a little bit closer because this is mostly for you, but like I said, husbands, you have to partner in this and help us. You can't see your wife trying here and you were just like, what you want to do? You know, we gotta try, like, not even acknowledging it. So we're gonna want you to say, oh, babe, girl, I see you need to just step up. All right, so disclaimer, what we share here today may not necessarily help your marriage. You may have to just sit down and come up with some other things, but we're going to give you some ideas and what worked for us. So go ahead, Salome. How can we make our marriages more exciting?
So we'll just start by saying marriage is one of the most beautiful, amazing union that you can ever participate in. It is a biblical fact that it is built on the word of God. It's built on God himself. And it is important for you to know that because of the different things that accompanies marriage. It is very important for you to know that. But I personally love being married. I've always wanted to be married, and I'm so glad that God has gifted me with the perfect man for me that puts up with my crazy, puts up with my nuances, and in every area of my life and every part of me, and is willing to do life with me. So I'm grateful for that. And I hope you, even as a married person, are grateful for your husband. And it doesn't mean things are going to be perfect or things are perfect all the time. Like my husband and I, we butt head a number of times. It has lessons because, you know, each day we learn each other and we learn what ticks this one you off and the other one off or turns the other person on. But and I'm so grateful for that because one of the things that you want to do is know how to communicate from an understanding, you know, that whether they mean what they did or meant what they say, their heart is not what came off. So it's very important to know that. And so even for those who have not been married and are thinking about marriage and are desiring to get married, it's a beautiful desire. It's a wonderful desire. And if you desire it and you're working on yourself and working and reading your Bible, you will make it. You can make it. And so we want to ensure that our marriages are built on the foundation of God first. And that is number one. That should also get you excited because when you are built, when your house is built on a firm foundation, you hardly worry when there's a wind because you know that your foundation is so sure and so secure that you're not worried about the little winds that come and blow because your foundation. So that should excite you that your marriage is built on the foundation of God.
Do we really know what marriage is outside of marriage? I would say not. You learn what marriage is when you come into the marriage. And so you're never fully prepared because marriage is an entity that has its own rules, and we have to abide by these rules in order for the marriage to work. And it's inside of the marriage that we actually learn these things. So there are, according to what I'm seeing when I Googled, that there are three most important things that are in a marriage. Number one, intimacy. Number two, commitment. And number three, communication. One, intimacy. Two, commitment. And three, communication. So we are going to give you some pointers along these three headings that can help you improve your intimacy, improve your commitment, and number three, improve your communication, which I believe in my heart, based on my experience, that that is the most challenging part of it. Even if it's an intimacy problem you're having or a commitment issue you're having, it starts with the communication element. So we're going to leave that for last. Let's talk about the intimacy. How can we make it exciting?
Okay, so can we start with commitment? Because I feel like we have
Okay.
to be committed first.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll go ahead and start with commitment. I think it's very important for both parties to be committed.
Yeah.
And it means when things are good, when things are bad, when there's no intimacy, when there's no communication, we have to be able to commit. So commitment will drive us to say, honey, I think we have an issue and I think we need to sit down and talk about it because I am so committed to you. I want this to work. And so
Right.
I'll even in my marriage, I'll give you an example. I'm like, honey, we need to talk. And you know how men, they don't like that.
Should I go this other way around?
I'm like, what do we need to talk about now? So
they always assume it's something negative.
Yeah. And it's not always the case. But
Right.
How you say it too is
yeah,
important.
I know. Yeah.
So I'll say, okay, we need to talk. And you sit down and you can lay out how you're feeling, what you see that's going on, how you believe it's impacting your life and our marriage, and how it's maybe putting a wedge or anything like that in between us, and say, okay, how do we fix this? How do we fix this? How do we come back to the middle and do things that excite us again? Like, I've been feeling really, really tired lately, and I have not been giving you the attention that you need, but I'm willing to work on it. Like, so what do I need to do? And so how do I serve you? And how do you serve me? And then come to that mutual understanding. Why? Because we're so committed to each other. We're committed to making it work. So we're willing to do anything it takes. When you're
So tell me, tell me, what is it that you're going to do to make the commitment actually work? Give me some practical little skills and practices, things that we can do to boost commitment. Can I bring you? Want me to take commitment? Let me take commitment.
Go.
All right. So I'm just thinking now, what is it that I can do to increase commitment in my relationship? From time to time, it's very good to go back to the time we decided that we wanted to walk this walk. So we're going to take out those wedding albums again, and we're going to look back at the pictures. We're going to look back at the picture when the day of engagement came. We're going to go back to the first time we had that date and that moment when we knew. So I would say the number one thing that I would recommend for you for commitment is to go back to memories, picture memories that you have captured about the moment when you decided that I wanted to commit my life to you forever. Okay. All right. Tell me one other thing that comes to your mind, Salome, that we can do to improve the commitment aspect of our relationship.
Well, I would say by doing the work.
Okay.
Like by actually doing the work, or
like being there when he really needs you, right? That's what you
right,
mean.
like being there.
Yeah, don't just talk the talk, but walk it out, girl.
But exactly, walk the walk, do the things that that pleases your husband. that shows that you're committed to him. So you're doing, so whether it's his favorite food, because you're committed to him, you're going to go ahead and make sure that he gets his favorite food. It's
Yes.
ready time when he gets in. He doesn't have to wait a long time. So that's a part of being committed in the, in the good times and the bad times. If you're having a bad day, you can really see or feel, kind of feel, what's going on. You kind of see him just going around not saying anything, and you can say, honey, is everything okay? It shows
Yeah.
that you're committed to him and you're interested in
Yes.
how he's feeling and how he's doing.
Just be in that moment of low with him and
Yeah.
until he gets out of it. Sometimes you don't
One
have
of
to
the
do
things,
anything to try and get them out of it because that can irritate more.
right.
So just be in that moment with them and show them that you are there. That is a strong point. I like that.
Yeah, doing things that he likes and enjoy, or your partner,
Yeah.
a male is listening, doing things that your partner likes and enjoys shows that you're really committed to their happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about cooking their favorite food. Sometimes we drop off the consistency. We
Hmm.
used to do these things and we do not do them anymore. Show your
Okay.
commitment with continuing with it. All right.
Hmm.
So great. I think that we've really pointed out some strong points about commitment. Let's look at the matter of um, intimacy.
See.
How
We
can we
get
make
excited.
it? Because I see you, you're a very intimate person. Okay.
You know
So
what? I love talking about intimacy. And
your
it's
face
not,
totally lit up. Let's go.
it's not just sex. Let me just put it out there. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Intimacy is not, it's a huge part. Let me tell you. I could tell you, okay? It's a huge part and it's so important. But being intimate also is just being present. It's spending quality time together. Quality time together. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with like the love languages, the 5 different love languages, and how important it is to, just to be aware of what makes your partner feels good, and
Yes.
get them excited, and which language they prefer. But intimacy, spending quality time is so important, whether it is just doing something that you both love, the things that you like, the things that makes you happy, the things that makes you grow. It could be anything, but it's really just
Yes.
spending quality time with each other. Sometimes it's just look at each other's eyes. Sometimes
Yes.
one of the things that my husband and I do, we have like a bowl with questions, and we will just like put different questions in that we want to ask each other, and we'll spice it up a little bit, like put some little cute questions or little things that we want to be done to each other. And it pulls us closer, because not only are we spending quality time together, we're learning some of the things that we do like and probably dislike. So I think that's very important.
Yes.
Our
Wow.
intimacy, just sharing how you truly feel, what's happening with you, and just some things that you would like. It's just like, hey honey, how's your day going? And you'll say then, say, hey, I'm doing all right. Okay, see you later. But then a weekend check-in, like how are you really doing? Like how was your week? What are some of the challenges you had? And just sitting down and getting to understand what had occurred and how it affected them, and how they resolved it. And just by
Yeah.
listening to them.
But listen, we don't want to dwell too much on the intimacy communication part of it. We want to get to the physical because intimacy, once you hear the word intimacy, it's the physical that's coming to you. I remember I had a friend and he's been married and he shared with me that um, sometimes the sex factor is not there in his relationship anymore, but definitely the intimacy is what he misses the most. The intimate touch,
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
cuddles, where you can feel the person physically.
yeah.
A man wants to come home to that. I mean, I've heard so many times, I'm in a ministry and I've heard it so many times. Men like intimacy,
Yeah.
right? So, as you mentioned, I love that. What is their love language? First, you need to know because if you're doing something that is more irritating and not comforting or sexy, then it's like, what are you, you know? And they will tell you, most men are very honest. They're going to tell you, I don't like that. No, don't do that. But you also mentioned the notes.
Mm-hmm.
Write these little notes, put them under the pillow, put it in his wallet, something that really will give him a thrilling feeling. Take
Yeah.
me there, because I know you've done a couple of these things before. So don't leave me hanging out here.
I have, and then not only that, but sometimes we as wives, we kind of dwell on the things that our husbands are not doing or not saying and stuff like that. And
Yeah, yeah.
I think this is one of the tools that we can use, like use notes. You remember when you used to go to like high school and back in the days and you used to write love notes and got those are some of the things, like just sharing little love notes, little things that that will allow them to smile. Just smile. Like I'm having a bad day, or I've put like a little note in my husband's wallet, and he's going to get his money, and this is what comes out, and it does a lot for them as well, and gives them something to really look forward to when they come home.
When they come home, give them something. Oh, I'm so glad you went there. Give them a little bit of something to look forward to when they come home, a surprise element. So it could be in the form of a text message, it could be in the form of a photo that you sent, it could be a reminder of how great last night was, or how I loved when you rubbed my toe, my back, or I have plans for you. Don't be out late tonight. Whatever, just let him. What is she talking about? What is she thinking about? What is she going to do? That whole time in between meetings, in between talking to friends, he's trying to figure out, what is she going to do? It's working for your intimacy in your marriage.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
Okay, I'm just going to throw something out there. Make him a fancy, top quality dinner. Go buy some lobster. Don't keep it cheap. I mean, like, go get a piece of steak. All right, you go.
Yeah, like putting on your favorite, his favorite lingerie that he likes to see you when he gets.
Okay. Yes. Or
You
just
know,
go buy a new one at Victoria's Secret.
go buy a new one, do something.
Yeah.
But I think the spontaneity in marriage is really important also.
Very important. Yeah.
Intimacy. Just like, oh, and then you hear, oh, but I've never, when did you
Yeah.
buy that? That looks really good.
Yeah, that's like doing something off the charts,
Off the
like
chart.
unpredictable. Those
Yeah.
things get their attention.
Yes, just surprise them. Sometimes we got to go out of our way and think out of the box, because especially for those who have been married for such a long time, what can you do? You realize you keep doing the same thing over and over, but there are different ways of doing it that kind of just gets the mind going again and get us excited again. Like, every night you go home, you go to bed in a black silk nightgown or anything like that. Little dress, what they call it. But
Like a duster, take off the
like,
duster and the nightie, please. Put them aside. Put
you
on
know,
some shorts that are way too short. That's the place to wear it.
yeah, and let him come home and just see you in a nice bright red or a bright orange that's just popping,
Yeah. Those
just
are romantic colors.
yeah.
Yes.
So those are just some of the things, and a dinner, be creative, and you don't have to be the best chef. You can go
Yeah.
on Google. I realize you can go on Google and you can Google some things. You can get the
Recipes.
ingredients and then go from the and try to make it and try to be different, and because men like that. As far as I am concerned, because I'm a wife, I know my husband like that, and he will like, "Wow, that's nice," and you seem like, "Okay, tastes good," and
Yes,
it gets you excited also, and
it
makes you feel
does.
as a wife. It makes
I
you want
remember I was watching my husband's reaction one evening. He came home and he went straight over to the stove. I guess he probably smelled something once he walked in, and he lifted up the pot, and I was behind him and I could see side view. He was smiling because he looked in the pot and he saw something good and he's hungry and he wants to eat. That's the best thing I could do for him that whole night. I mean, that whole day, that's the best thing that I could do for him. Don't just be pretty, don't just fix the house, which are very important as well, but fix some dinner.
Fix some dinner. Yes. Fix some dinner, fix your hair, fix your. I remember um, during COVID, like the latter part of COVID, I was comfortable because I transitioned home at that time, and he said, and my husband said, and I would get up, just roll out of bed, and just started working, and I would just be there, just working, working, working. I remember one time he came in and said, "Okay, but you're in the same clothes I left you in," but he just said it, and I'm like, something just grabbed me, and I wasn't even thinking about it, like. Of course, I freshened myself and stuff, but it wasn't as posh as I needed to be, really. And I was like, so all this time, and I was thinking like, okay, well, I was just a wife at home, my husband's home, I cooked this dinner and everything. But they want to see that you're making an effort with yourself because we're getting older, we're putting
Mm-hmm.
on weight and all that stuff. But they want to see that we're trying our very best to just, make
Yes.
it exciting, keep things excited in the home.
That's it. Once they see that their wife is trying, because every man wants to make his wife into a trophy at some point to show you off or to feel proud of what you look like. And so I'm not here to tell you to make any major transitions, but whatever you need to do, find out from him what he likes. How would you like me to look?
Hmm.
What do
And
you
so,
like? Because
and
that's important. Most of us are trying to stick to something that we like to see about ourselves or what we're accustomed to or we were trained or cultured or traditioned to do, especially as church women. I know how it is, the rules. But I need you to sit down with your husband one day and say, I mean, if all of that goes away, really, in your mind, give me the picture of your ideal woman. What is she wearing right now? What would she be doing? That ideal girl, because you need to be that for him.
yeah.
Go there. Let me let you finish that, because that's deep for me.
Yeah, that's true. And I just want to put it out there that you don't have to do a BBL, you know.
Okay.
I think men want women to be their authentic self, but they want
True.
women to really take care of themselves. Whether it's combing your hair, brushing your teeth, and making sure you're well kept and you're smelling good. That's one of the most important things. You want to make sure you're smelling good, especially for women who want their men all over them, like me. I'll need you all over me. And so that is important, but just carrying yourselves well, the home well, does a whole lot for men mentally, so
Absolutely.
that they can also be excited and want to be over you and want to be, touchy lovey and spend quality time with you. So you want to attract that.
Mhm.
Even though you're married for 14, 18 years, you still want to actively attract your husband so that they
Mhm.
can actively pursue you.
Yes. And work takes a lot out of our relationships. Some of you are not seeing them. You're running in, they're running out, kind of thing. And I'm praying that you can resolve that issue a little bit, because those things, the going after the income, those are robbers. That whole is robbery. And you will hear, oh, but we have to pay the bills. But you're also losing elements of your marriage. So you have to find a way to meet in the middle. All right. So I need you to get some day off time that you're going to do it together and plan something like a pamper day. That's
Mhm.
one thing I'm throwing out there. Give yourselves a pamper day of a massage or mani or pedicure and do it together. All right. And then watch him sleep sometimes, because just knowing that, babes, it's okay to sleep. You don't have to go and do anything, that kind of thing. And financially, talk to me about that. How can we make it a little bit more exciting in the home, with our finances, because that's our men's biggest worry.
You know what? Stop shopping so much, ladies.
Okay. Somebody's not liking you right now.
You know what? I'm gonna share this with you, and I'm gonna be a little vulnerable. So, um, I love to shop, um, and and when I do, I'm not only shopping for myself. I'm shopping for the house and I'm shopping for my husband. But one of the most important things that my husband will tell me, one at the beginning he wouldn't tell me because he wants to make sure that he's overthinking over he's over everything. He has authority and he's doing this. And he's making sure that he's providing and protecting. But it was when we really got to a point where it was so important for us to like communicate about our finances. And he would say like, I love you and I'm a family man. And he would sit me down and he would say, it is important for us to save. And so it is not a problem for you to shop and buy things, but we have to make a decision as far as what is priority. What is it that we want to build? What is it that we want to achieve as far as saving is concerned? Because, there are rainy days coming and we want to make sure that we're prepared because men, when they feel like they're not doing the things that they're supposed to do and standing up to their responsibility as far as providing and protecting, it stresses them out. And
Yeah.
at one point I saw my husband doing that and I had to pull myself back and I had to say, okay, well, I have to follow his leading when it comes down to this. And he has definitely taught me how to save and how to be
Mhm.
more frugal with my money. But even though I kind of just run out sometimes and do stuff, but
It's
it's
what we do.
it's what we do, but it is important because men wants to make sure that their families are good. And if every time we just go out and spend, we're pulling from the resources, right? We're pulling from the resources. And so we have to always have a plan. We have to budget. We always have to be on the same page when it comes into finance because I
And
do believe, according to some statistics, that finance is one of the biggest issue in marriages. And I want to make sure that my marriage is solid and we're saving and I'm following my husband's lead and I'm not shopping. But I'm telling you, yeah. And this is one of the reasons why I love football season and basketball season because I get to do whatever I want to do because my husband owns the only thing he does is go to work, eat, and watch games. So
you have a sports fan too. Oh
I
my
have
God.
seasons. I have a
Yeah.
season of shopping. So
Yeah. But ladies, it also means we're gonna have to make the money. We're gonna have to make some money too. We can't leave the responsibility on him. And when they keep wanting us to save, and we should work with them, but then we must always have a way of how we're gonna get our money to do what we also know we need to do. Buying something new for the house, for even him, for whatever reasons, that's what we survive on that. And shout out to all my very frugal wives who are on here who are the ones who don't like to spend and don't like to shop and your husbands do all the shopping. I need one of you to come on this podcast to tell me how. Talk to me about that whole dynamic because I don't understand it. I just don't.
I don't either. I love to and then I'm not saying that I go out and I buy stuff and I waste my money because I'm also a business
Right.
person and I'm also I'm not an idiot. I'm smart as well.
Exactly.
Then when you have a strong man that is determined to leave a legacy for our children, our children's children,
Mhm.
and just be comfortable, live comfortable. Men are they go crazy when things are not working out. When it's
Oh
not
yeah, they
working out,
do. If
you know.
anything affects their money, and sometimes we're the ones who are just not being good stewards over that, forget everything we're saying tonight. They're not going to buy it. Like, you really need to work with them as much as possible.
Yeah.
Time has run out on us, but two things that we need to address, the matter of children
Mhm.
in making the, because our how we deal with children also affects our partners as one. I want you to help me with that. Just a quick sentence there. And also on the matter of communication, what are two things that we can do to really make our communication be better instantly, immediately? You can try it right now and it works.
So let's start with communication because I feel like communication will run also into how we parent our children.
Parents, our children.
So I think communication is very important. I think not only talking and going off and saying everything that comes to your mind and everything that affects you, but really thinking through things and learning how to, to bring up things, how to say it, understanding each other's point of view and how, especially like how your partner was raised is plays a
Mhm.
very important part. Even as a child, how his parents treated him when he was a child, when he did wrong or when he did anything that was good, is so important. And so knowing that also helps to understand, why he parents the child like this, because he will just let a Johnny run around and do stuff and then later deal with it. But I'm like, no, honey, come here, honey, let's deal with it right now.
Mhm.
But it's just that dynamic, but communicating like how your husband or how your spouse was raised, and what they believe and how we should do it is important on this level before even children come into play.
Before you get married, because that parenting factor can really, it has been one of the factors that majorly ruins a relationship, a marriage. I know relationships that have marriages, let me use that word, that ended because of how the stepmother treated the her husband's children and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
um, if he doesn't respect all the children as he should and
Mm-hmm.
decides to father, and vice versa, if you do not want to mother his kids,
Right.
forget everything else we've said tonight. You have wounded that man.
Yeah.
And you need to fix that component immediately. We didn't even plan on talking about this, but God knows that maybe somebody needs to hear this.
Yeah.
Do not ruin your marriage because you can't get it together on parenting. And so that communication factor is key, and you have to keep on doing it because his upbringing is going to parent the children way different. But if they're your kids and you have to communicate, I do not want my children to see this kind of example. You have to be strong with that and never compromise, because when children are scarred early, then they spend years in therapy and life coaching, and we don't want that. So,
Same page, and you don't want the kids to feel like, oh, you guys are going back and forth and you guys don't know what you're doing or what you want me to do, so that's important too. So whether it is biological or not, I feel like children manipulate parents all the
all
time.
the time.
All
Yeah.
the
And they will tell lies. And your marriage needs to be stronger than the lies of the children. And you cannot be in a position to want to believe the children over the spouse all the time, because, again, the children eventually leave. And if you really want this marriage to work, there has to be transparency, honesty. Get some proof, get some videotape, whatever you have to do, put some cameras, but make sure that there's a high level of honesty and trust.
Yeah.
All right. And children need that in order for them to grow in this world. All
Yeah.
right.
So that was so we did the
That's children.
communication of the children.
Yeah. But communication, let's throw some exciting things. What can you do to make communication instantly better? One word comes to my mind. Listen more.
Listen, yeah, absolutely. You have to be able to listen, and sometimes it's just listening, just openly, actively listening. You're not trying to solve anybody's problems. You're not trying to, just overdo it and do a lot of different things, but just be present. I think that's very important as well.
Yeah. So try that tonight and try that for the rest of this week. After you listen to this podcast, just do the listening thing. Even if you're making it weird, like they're like, you're not talking. And they're like, no, I'm not. They're going to, especially if you're a talker like me and always have something to say, just shut it down. Because I find that when I do that, I get better results.
Yes.
All right, guys. So we're going to end on that note, Salome. Thank you for being such an awesome guest. I could listen to you talk all the time. I've ever told you that I love the way you talk.
Thank you.
I do. Just crisp and very articulate and intelligent and beautiful tone of voice. So talk more, all right? You can make a living from that voice.
I think my husband will disagree.
Far since I've been doing my podcast, I've been hearing a lot of that. Like, you have the voice you sound, and I'm like, what? Really? I always thought my voice was annoying, but it's so good to just put yourself out there, and sometimes you see and you hear such positive feedback. So I wanted to give that to you. You have a beautiful voice for recording, singing, and I know you do a lot of that little bit, but we'll come back. It won't be the last time. We have so much more to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to support Salome and share this content with every wife and every husband. Yeah. And again, husbands, remember, partner with the wife when she comes home trying to do something weird because she listened to this podcast, but she's just trying something new and exciting. Go along with it. Yeah. All right. And you put something in there too. Everything we've said to the wives, husband, try and top that.
Absolutely. And I just want to thank you also for giving me the opportunity. You're such a beautiful woman of God also.
Thank you.
Purpose. And And you know, you're my girl, and I'm here to support you. Always keep doing the great job as a mom, as a wife, and just as God creation. Like, you
Yeah.
know what you were called for, and you were just
Mhm.
walking in that, and that's very admirable. And I just want to just tell you to just keep going, and I love you, and I will support you the best way I know how to.
Oh my God, guys, you see what I'm talking about? Just all this mushiness, just this love that she's outpouring. It goes deep. It just went straight to my heart. I'm going to sleep better today because I really am going to sleep better tonight because hearing that and knowing that it's coming from a pure place, you've been consistently like this in my life. And again, I mean, if I could just be half of who you are to me, it wouldn't be like I did it. You know, I want you to feel good as well. So I love you back.
I love you.
All right. We love you all who are listening to us, wives. You got this. You have a support team here. Myself and Salome will never leave you hanging. And if you have questions or anything you're going through that is just too overwhelming, share it with us. Be anonymous, however you want to do it. Get the message to us. All our links will be posted below. But you don't have to go through that alone. We're fixing your crown. Okay, we're here tonight to help you. You know, God sees that, hey, the crown is falling off because I cannot get this marriage right. That's why we did this episode tonight. We love you. I'll see you next time. Bye now.